Hello, this is the second day of section 9.4. Yesterday we solved equations such as x minus 3 times x plus 4 equals 0, and we said the answers were going to be 3 and negative 4. But what we've seen is that polynomials come in all different kinds of forms. We've seen them in parentheses such as these, but we've also seen them in polynomial form such as the one like on number 3. And so the question is, how do we go from polynomial form to the parentheses so that we can solve it? And that's actually going to be our job for the next several days. We're going to take a polynomial and we're going to find what is in those parentheses. The first thing we need to talk about is what is the GCF between two numbers. If you look at 24 and 60, there's lots of different ways to find the greatest common factor. One thing I need for you to be able to do is when we talk about like the number 24, I need you to be able to at least list all of the factors of 24, such as 1 and 24, 2 and 12, 3 and 8, 4 and 6. I'm running out of room. But at least make a list of what is available. Also 60, we could have like 1 and 60, 2 and 15, nope, 2 and 30. We could have 3 and 20, 4 and 15, 5 and 12, 6 and 10, and you get the idea. So these are pretty long lists, but you can see that 12 is the greatest common factor. So, I mean, that's one way that you can find it. I know you guys have done factor trees. Sometimes you could just think about it. There's these things called ladders. I know they taught some of you. So however your method, whatever works, as long as you can find it pretty quickly. Now, in number 2, what we're going to talk about is you can actually find the greatest common factor between variable terms as well. You're going to notice that both of these terms have x in them, and so the GCF is actually x. You can take one x out of both of these terms. If you look at number 3, I see x's in both terms, and in fact I see 2 of them, and so I can take 2 x's, or x squared, out of both of these terms. I also notice that there are y's, but this time I can only take one y out since the second term only has one y. And then I see z's, z to the third, z to the fourth, and so at most we can take out is 3. We couldn't take out z to the fourth because this first term doesn't have that many. So this is your GCF for number 3. And if you want to go ahead and pause it, I'll go ahead and do the checkpoints, but if you want to pause it, try it for yourself, and then you can start the video again. GCF of these two terms, I see an x, and that's at most I can take out because this one only has 1. And I see a y, and again, that's at most we can take out. The GCF on number 5, I see a's, and in fact we can take out a squared, since this has an a squared and I can take a squared out of a to the fourth. I only see one b, so we can't take out any b's, and I only see one c, so we can't take out any c's. So this is our final answer, just a squared. Now we're going to take that GCF and we're actually going to find what is in the parentheses. This is called factoring. We are going to find what is in front of parentheses when we distribute. So basically it's the opposite of distributive property. So if you look at your two terms, we have 24 and 60. We already said that the GCF of that is 12. So we're going to put 12 out in front of our parentheses. And then it's going to be our job to say what was left over inside those parentheses when we distributed. So the other thing you want to look at is there's 2 x's, and so we can take out an x as well. So 12 times what is 24? 12 times 2. And then how would we get x to the third? We need to have x squared inside the parentheses. X times x squared is x to the third, plus 12 times what is 60? 12 times 5 is 60, and we have an x. We also need a y. To check your answer, you're just going to distribute. So I'll distribute 12 times 2 is 24, and then I'll have 3 x's, x to the third, plus 12 times 5 is 60, x times y. And we have it right. So your final answer is 12x parentheses 2x squared plus 5y. And we'll talk about in class how you would solve an equation with that. And let's just do number 7. So find and factor out the greatest common monomial factor. Let's look at the numbers first, 3 and 18. We can pull out a 3. And I see a squared and a to the 4th. We can pull out a squared. And then we need to say what's left over. Remember, you're distributing. 3 times what is 3? 3 times 1. And we don't need any more a's. We already have a squared. So really all we need is 1 minus 3 times what is 18? That's a 6. But I need an a to the 4th. I already have a squared. So 6 needs to be multiplied by another a squared. And let's just check really quick. We distribute. We get 3a squared minus 18a to the 4th. So our final answer is what we have here with the parentheses, 3a squared, parentheses 1 minus 6a squared. And I'll go ahead and let you do the checkpoints on this one, and we can check it in class, and then we'll do the class notes.